Unsyndicated presents Off the Air with Sean Baligian.
Well, hi, boosters. How are you? Everything
I like that. Boosters.
It's a Jerky Boys reference, just going way back. Hello, Booster. How you doing? Everything well? Fantastic. Glad you could join us on a Friday night. He, of course, Blake from 760 WJR Mitch Album Show and Sport Trap. I'm just Sean. But Blake, we're almost there. 29 days, baby. We can grind through this. I know it's the most difficult time, but we can grind through this.
Yes, we can. And playing a video game that recreates college football definitely helps. And that's all I've done this week. Literally,
you've won 2 natties. Is that what I'm?
Yeah, I'm back-to-back national champs, and also secured the #1 overall recruit in the country. You know, not to brag, but things have been going well for Eddie Cuck at the University of Michigan.
So
you love that name, don't you?
Great name. So this #1 prospect in the country, what Roni Tomo, is that what you named it? That the make believe like 5-star or whatever? Or why don't you just make him? There it is. Why don't you just make him a 6-star like Milky Waters? Just make him a 6-star.
I don't want to make it too easy on myself.
Okay.
I'm enjoying the grind, and it's been great. Game's awesome.
Dave's already in. Have you created T. Romo at Eastern Illinois yet? See, just do Roni Tomo. You should do it just on principle, right? Create your own guy.
If I ever dive into the road to glory, I will do that for you. Only for you, though.
That's Notre Dame. Return to glory. It's every year. I love the return to glory so much. I love it so much.
But you know what I did do this week? So going into year 3, I decided I'm realigning conferences.
Did you really?
I threw Notre Dame in the Big Ten. I kicked out the Pac-12 teams.
Kicking and screaming, by the way. They were kicking and screaming.
I put the Pac-12 teams back in the Pac-12, and then I took the Pac-12 teams that were in the ACC back in the Pac-12, and I moved SMU to the Big 12, and I took Iowa State to the Big 10.
Did you really?
Mm-hmm. I like having regional conferences.
You and I talked. I remember you and I talked about that on the radio last year. It's. I think no. I'm with you. I think it's fun.
Yes.
I think it's fun.
So that's been my life lately. It's been great.
Good for you though. And you know what? It hasn't rained in like 48 hours, which is that in and of itself is like a near miracle. It's incredible.
Yeah.
So have you been following camp much? I know you've kind of been off and all that. Have you been following Lions camp much?
I have not. Sean, when I tell you I am so unplugged from the world right now.
Good for you.
It's actually incredible.
Good for you.
I learned so much coming out of the show. And for some reason you give me a microphone and I'm allowed to speak my mind. But honestly, I have no clue what's going on in the world.
Well, listen, there's nothing wrong with that until football starts. If this was football season, I'd be yelling at you right now. Yeah. Like honestly, I would. I'd be. What are you talking about? Come on, get with it, Blake. Are you kidding me?
That won't happen. I'll be locked in. I promise you.
I can't. I can't wait for it. I'm not even being funny. It's just I'm kind of I'm at the point right now where I can't wait for Thursday. Like literally to sit back and watch that useless Hall of Fame game. Like I can't wait because it's just the Tigers have been a drag. I'm sorry. I know it was cute when the offense perked up and they've had a nice July and all that stuff, but I still think it's fool's gold. I'm sorry. As we talked about a couple days ago, they were getting pounded the last I checked. Here tonight, it was 6-2, I think, before we went on. Maybe you guys can give us an update. What did you think of that Deshaun Foster at Big 10 Days? Did you say that?
No, what happened?
He stumbled and the
Oh,
opening
the
was
UCLA coach, correct?
yes.
Yes, I heard about that. Yes. Yeah, but he did like media right afterwards and basically owned it. He
Yeah,
was
and
like,
it happens, but it's that's not the place for it to happen, and in today's day and age, let's be honest. I mean, people are gonna look at that. That's just the way it is. So, David, I saw that. Blomo sent the rubber duck down the river to Indy, didn't he? Now that was cool.
very cool.
That's awesome. Good for them. Like I got no problem with that, man. I got no problem for that.
The fact that they haven't done that, like when they play at Washington, they just float that thing out there. Because isn't that stadium like right on the river? You
Yes.
can like sailgate there.
Awesome.
They need to have the rubber duck out there.
Hell yeah.
That'd be
Absolutely.
fantastic.
So as Jason brought up, and Jason, I'm surprised you didn't go in the direction that I went in. It's time to bring Kickalicious back. Do you remember that whole thing?
Yeah.
I tweeted something like that out, and the whole Kickalicious thing. I remember there were people that were like adamant. Oh no! He's going to make the team. Stop it! Like there, and people that were calling my show going, dude, you're not connected. And I'm like, I don't know how to tell you this. Back then, I was out there most every day. He's not going to make this team. It's not going to happen. But with Badgley being out, you hate to hear it. I don't listen. I don't care who you are. Nobody wants to endure that. I think a lot of people are sitting back and assuming that it's just Bates' job. I don't think that's the case, Blake. I don't think that's the case at all.
Brett Maher has to be out there somewhere, right? He's ready. Somebody like that. He's been on like 17
They're
teams.
always those guys. They just kind of hang around, right?
I mean, and Badgley was that guy too. So there'll be a guy out there that'll probably they'll bring in and like give a tryout to and everything. And it might not be, and it could still be Bates, but it's so early. Like at least it's early enough in camp where they can try and like figure something out. But I think Dan Gamble would be fine just not having a kicker.
I think
he hates kickers.
I think a couple people have already made comment along that. Will we really miss out on the 6-time Campbell goes for the field goal / extra point this season? I'm sorry. I've always felt this way. I've said it for years. I've banned kickers. I'm all for just banning kickers. I got no time with it. Obviously, it's part of the game. You're seeing some guys go away from it. But listen, today, when you have guys, 50-yard field goals are routine now, okay?
Yeah.
I grew up in an era where if a dude hit from like 49, you were like, whoa. Now, 50-yard field goals are routine, and 60 isn't that crazy anymore. It just isn't. So, with that being said, yes, that's a weapon. Make no mistake about that. That's a weapon. That's something that's going to help Bates. Obviously, I think everybody, you don't need me to tell you, everybody and their brother knows that he hit, plus 60 field goals in the USFL and all of that. But when you go 17 of 22, is that a guy you can trust? Do you only use them in those circumstances? And like so many people have been talking about, hey, look, we're within 30. We're just going for it. As long as it's not 4th and 22 or some crap like that, So, I mean, honestly, are we putting maybe too much of an impetus on it?
No, I think the special teams is a third of the game.
Yeah.
For Dan Campbell, it's more of like a fourth. But
Fifth.
I mean, it's still an important part, and it can win and lose you football games. So you have to have a guy that you can rely on, because you can't tell me if they didn't have 1,000% faith in Badgley last season, he doesn't kick a couple extra times, and they're probably in the Super Bowl.
At
least one of those.
I know that we're going to debate it forever, but I think he did what got him to the dance. You know what I mean? Of those decisions, I thought that the last one was okay, that's dumb. I didn't have them. I didn't have a problem with him going for it on fourth. I just didn't. That's his MO. Unfortunately, it didn't work. I mean, obviously a drop pass doesn't hurt, but I know a lot of people complained about it at the time, and they're still probably sore about it. Like Blake, I hope you know I'm not saying you're wrong. It's an opinion. I guess I just didn't have a problem with it. Like,
Yeah.
That's his MO. And this is what he got the guys to buy in on. And this is what he's got that kind of maverick type of. So I don't know. I just never had even I thought maybe after a couple months I'd go, okay, that was I don't honestly, I don't have a problem with it. Even now, even hearing you say that, sorry to go off, but it kind of brought those memories come flooded back. And even now, I'm not like,
yeah, but all I'm saying is, would that have been his MO if he had a guy he had 100% faith in? We don't, and that's a question none of us can answer, but that affected his decision making, not just in that game, but the entire season.
So. Yeah, I think so. Listen, I think he's going to call the game the way he's going to call the game, and I think that that is what has endeared him to his players, is they know that push comes to shove, he has their back, and he's not afraid to go for it and things like that. I just what honestly, it's a guess. I don't see him changing that. I think that's just in his DNA. I think he's gonna sink or swim with that kind of mentality, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm not arguing that.
Yeah. Lots of other stuff going on. I want to ask you about the division as well, because I think it's very interesting to me how a lot of people are kind of looking at this division as being only two teams, and I don't know. And I want to get your thoughts on it and ask you as a guy who's in but not really in, if that makes sense.
Thank you for recognizing that. I appreciate that.
You were forced in. I openly admit it.
Okay. Well, it just depends on how much you want to be in on the bit today.
No, I made you get in the bit. We made a bet.
Yeah.
We made a couple bet. Okay, Tim said the last good Sparty kicker was Morton Anderson. Matt Coughlin, Rayner.
Are we really okay? Can I just stop? Tiger. Are we really doing this? You hate kickers. Why are we doing this?
I do hate kickers.
Just move on.
I think they're useless. I'm sorry. Can I just honestly?
I have to stop you at some point.
Edinger hung around for a while, right? Edinger kind of kicked around the NFL for a while, right?
Sure.
Yeah, I hate
Jake Moody.
I hate kickers.
I'm good.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not comparing the two. Your people, though, I have a bone to pick with your
oh no.
I have a bone to pick with your people, and I'm going to get to it in a couple minutes. It has been bothering me, and it is.
Did it start with the tweet that I sent you?
Yes.
Did I trigger it?
Yes. Yeah, no. Because you know what? I'm seeing way too much of it. It's a bad bit, and I need to bring you all back down to earth. I do. And this is
you can't bring me national champ.
That 100%.
There's no bringing me down.
That doesn't mean that there still isn't a monster hiding underneath your bed. I can always tip of the cap, national championship trumps all. Make no mistake about it. But your fan base, you people, your dismissing of Ryan Day is priceless to me. I'm sorry, it just is. It's priceless to me.
Okay.
Do you like you people? I'm sorry. I love you.
All I think of is you going into your Don Cherry every time you say it.
Yo, kids out there. Let me tell you all about catering. All right. All About Catering LLC is a full-service caterer. Graduations, weddings, bridal showers, corporate events, anything you need catering for from 25 to 4,000 people. All About Catering can and will take care of you. Customer service and satisfaction is their number one goal. So don't sweat your next big event. Just go to allaboutcateringllc.com today. Check out their menus, all their 5-star reviews. Listen, I recommend them. They've done things for me. Rick and his group will take care of you. Call 586-731-1398 to get your event started. See, you know what, Blake? I had no intention of getting into it. But the slander that I see going towards Ryan Day's name is actually, it's actually funny. It is. And I'm sorry. You know what? I speak in fact. And a lot of times speaking in fact pisses people off, right?
Mm-hmm.
And whether you all want to admit it or not, a lot of you people out there, not all of you, but a lot of you people didn't like when I spoke factually about the University of Michigan back in the day. Okay? Now, I refuse to become what I detest. It's like you said, tip of the cap. National champions. 3 Big Ten titles. Never, ever going to begrudge the Big Ten champion, man. That's what they play for. Never, ever going to do that. But you knew that there was a big but coming, right?
Yeah, give it to me. I'm ready for this.
Can you people explain to me how, like, Ryan Day's no longer a threat? He's just been neutralized and it's all over. No, really, I'm serious. Help me out.
I think as a Michigan fan, do you want me to go slappy or do you want me to go real answer?
No,
which one do you want?
Shoot straight, because I've had this conversation more in the last couple weeks because I've made it known. I think Ohio State is going to play for the national champion. I do. I think they're going to get curb stomped by Georgia, but I think Ohio State's going to play for the national championship. And so many people, coincidentally, that are Michigan fans are, Ryan Day sucks. Ryan Day sucks. And I because I'm going to drop the fact hammer in a second, okay?
He's a very, very, very good football coach. His teams are not tough. He is not a tough guy football coach. He has never had great offensive lines. He has had good defensive ends here and there. Their DBs usually aren't tough and don't tackle well either. His teams are not tough. And when you're playing teams like Michigan and Oregon and Georgia, you are not going to win those games when you are being out physicaled every single time. Michigan beat the crap out of them the last.
I don't know. I don't know if it's every single time. I think Michigan got bigger and tougher, but I think Ohio State was the bully on the block for a few years, right? Not only their speed and talent, but I think when push came to shove, they hit you pretty hard, right? I think that's fair to say, right? No, you don't agree?
No, I think they've been a finesse team.
Okay. All right. So
like Oregon from, the Chip Kelly era. Like those teams were fantastic. They had some physicality up front, but they were finesse most of the time.
Do you know what his record is in the Big Ten?
He has 3 losses.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's 41-3. 41-3. 40. Now think about that. Okay, I'm going to say it one more time. Just 41-3. And of
he's
course,
a really good coach. I'll never say he's not.
Of course, those 3 losses are the 3 pretty special Michigan teams. Okay. Do you know what Ryan Day's worst year is? Do you know what? Take a guess what his worst ranking is in his time as a head coach. Just take a guess.
Worst ranking?
Yeah, worst ranking.
It was this past year, right?
Yeah. Do you know what they were ranked?
6th?
10th.
Oh, okay.
That's his worst team. 10th. Okay, like seriously, here are his rankings, AP rankings, okay? 3rd, 2nd, 6th, 4th, 10th. Now, the way some of you people, notice I didn't say all, the way some of you people talk about this guy, you're out your flipping mind. What am I missing? This isn't, and so here's the thing. This isn't Lane Kiffin, okay? This isn't Mel Tucker. This isn't Brady Hoke. This is like legitimate past tense.
But he has some of that stuff in him. The whole Lou Holtz thing, the whole we're gonna hang 100 on him thing.
But do you know what the difference is? He's actually coached these teams to at worst, 10th in the nation. Okay? Like, and there's kind of significance in that 10th of in the nation number too. Because if you look up Jim Harbaugh, it's really strange how that works out itself out in his first 6 years too.
100%.
That's Ryan Day's worst season.
Mm-hmm.
Jim Harbaugh's best season matched that, and everything else was beneath. So, again, I get it. You've 3 years in a row, and make no mistake about it, Michigan was the best team in the conference 3 years running. Make no mistake about it, okay? And, of course, their only loss in that mix, I can't remember where it was. Maybe you can tell me where it was. All jokes aside.
K9.
No, Eric said, oh, please, Sean. Now, this. I got you. You ready? What did I just say that was false? Point one thing out that I said that was false. I'll wait. Name one thing that I said was false.
You're 100% right. Here's the thing, though, also. He has not won anything.
Boy, does that argument sound familiar. Go on.
What has he won?
But that argument sounds very familiar. Would you agree with that?
I'm not disagreeing with you.
You know what I could say? Do you know what I could say? Well, he won the Big Ten. Because people crucified me when I said that about Jim Harbaugh. Now, in fairness, I said it wasn't a question of when Jim Harbaugh was going to win. It was how many he was going to win.
Is his only one the COVID year? Or
no,
did he win it
twice.
He won it in 2019?
Yeah, 19 and 20.
Okay.
And in fairness, they did make it to the national championship game. In fairness, they made it to the national championship game.
Yep.
There's Eric, I'm still waiting for you to answer my question when I asked, oh, please, because you're going with the same drivel that I can pound into the ground. I can do this all day if you want.
I don't like you becoming a Ryan Day defender.
What 1-0? Does the Big Ten title count or no? Because it's interesting to me because I remember talking to some people 10 years ago.
Big Ten title matters. I forgot about 2019. So I retract my statement.
No, it's all right. When somebody else was doing it, I remember a bunch of people telling me the Big Ten title doesn't matter. And then in 2021, it was magical how the Big Ten title suddenly mattered again. If you want to talk about his toughness, we can have that conversation. And like you brought up and a couple other brought up, the Lou Holtz stuff was just, come on, that's silly. But you guys, come on. Like, his worst year is a top 10 finish. That's his worst year. He's won a playoff game. He's played for a natty. You know, I mean, it's like, am I missing something?
He's a very good coach.
Listen,
Also, if they lose to Michigan again this year, is he back? Genuinely asking. I understand what you're saying about the record. I understand everything you're saying, and I don't disagree with you. Ohio State fans are nuts.
It'll be an interesting. He chokes in the big game. Well, I mean,
the Notre Dame game last year, that was a huge game.
I mean,
He won that one.
He's guys. He's been to the playoff. He went to the national championship game.
Beat
He
Clemson's ass that year.
He's won the Big Ten. Like what? This reminds me. I'm sorry, whether you guys want to admit it or not, I don't care. But there are a lot of people out there that move the goalposts when it's convenient for them. Sorry. I mean, this is a guy that has done all the things that, your guy couldn't do back when you said it wasn't a big deal. And then all of a sudden it became a big deal again. But then you even surpassed that and you won a national championship. Well, that's fantastic. But like I said, I mean, the proofs, his overall record, guys, I mean, we talked 41-3 in the conference. That's including two Big Ten playoff championships, okay? When you add in his overall record is, if I'm not mistaken, is 60-9. 60-9. With multiple losses coming in the playoff.
Yep. He's a very good coach.
I don't get it.
But he is very make funnable. He's very trollable. That's why it's so easy. He's trollable.
I don't, for the life of me, I'm sure I get it. I think part of it, whether you guys want to admit it or not, is he was a man that tortured you, and he was the embodiment of torture for many, many years. And especially when he said he was going to hang a hundy on you, like then it became, okay, this is the man who tortured us. And now look, we've beaten him 3 years in a row.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that happened. But could you imagine if I was having this conversation 3 years ago? Jim Harbaugh lost to Ohio State in 15. Count with me at home. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. And we all know what happened in 2020. Okay? Come on. We know, right?
I don't count that season.
Okay, but we know what happened in 2020, don't we? We know what happened. I don't care what anybody says. We know what happened that year. And I'm not saying it was a bad business decision either. Okay? I'm not saying that was a bad business decision. So, am I missing something? And I'm not sitting here saying that he's Amos Alonzo Stagg. I'm not saying that he's Bear Bryant. I'm not saying he's Jim Harbaugh. But just, sorry, guys, some of the somebody compared him to Brady Hoke.
Yeah, no, that's not fair.
Like really? Some of the comparisons that I'm seeing on there are come on, kind of funny. I don't know. We'll see. And I'm not going Ohio State slappy. I think
I can't deal with you being a Ryan Day defender though. This is changing the complete dynamic of our friendship.
Can I say this though? Am I a defender or am I speaking factually about him?
You're speaking factually.
I think I'm just speaking factually.
You're speaking factually, but also, 1-3 against Michigan is also factual.
Yeah, I think I'm being factual, and that's okay.
He has the same amount of wins over Michigan as Sharon Moore has over Ohio State.
Jason, you're a Sparty fan. That college has bigger fish to fry that are just sitting in batter next to cold oil. No, listen, to me, this has nothing to do with fandom. I'm just talking factually. Is there one thing that I said that wasn't factual? And that's why, see, whether you guys want to admit it or not, there was a trap and you all walked into it. Am I missing something? Like seriously, I'm not saying the guy's a great, just the dismissing of Ohio State and Ryan Day in general is really odd to me, considering, again, his overall record, considering how, other than your special teams the last 3 years, this is a guy that has run roughshod over this conference.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's really weird. I don't.
Also a very it's just a very strong feeling you get when you're not like locked down by something anymore. So you go a little overboard.
100%. That's what I brought up. He was
The same thing happened for Michigan fans with like after D'Antonio left.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
It was the same feeling.
Oh, I know. Trust me. I know. Trust me.
I mean, I genuinely think we're in for like another 10-year war.
I don't know if we'll ever get back to a long-term big 2 little 10 type of situation.
No, but those
Every now
I
and
think
it'll work that way. You know, I think the last few years you could say it was like that, but that long term, those two are the best, head and shoulders above everybody else. You know what I mean?
I can say this now, but I won't say like you'll in the moment I will never say it. Like I still think Michigan will win this year, like I said weeks ago. But if they lost this year,
win the Big Ten and beat Ohio State?
No. I think they're going to beat Ohio State. I don't think they'll win the Big Ten.
You're sick with Oregon, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm not going to complain too much about that.
But
be surprised
if Michigan loses to Ohio State this year. Like, will I be upset? Yeah, 100%. But
yeah.
I'll also understand where Michigan's at, like rebuilding this year. Like, but not in the moment. I won't realize that.
Spartan Shawner going all Spartan Shawner. Hate, go. I can't say the word at all costs. No, Jason, I'm glad you get what I'm saying. And I hope most of you do. Like, this isn't a shot against you guys. It's just really weird. A lot of the Michigan fans that I talk to, it's almost like Ryan Day's like on the same level as Brady Hoke or Rich Rod or something. It's like, guys, this guy he's done a hell of a job there. He ran into a juggernaut the last 3 years.
You also have to like that job too, though. Like you're following Urban Meyer and Jim Tressel.
You're going in a different direction.
So that's those are.
Be careful. Be careful. That's all I'm going to say to you. Be careful. Because you know what a guy like me is going to say? Didn't we hear that about Rich Rod, and then about Brady Hoke, and then about Jim Harbaugh, and then we all, oh no, Michigan's all right because it's Michigan, and then we saw how much work Jim had to do, and we saw Jim, and I give him a tip of the cap for this. Jim had to get his hands dirty, and I have no problem with it. I don't. No. And Blake, I've said this to you, and I'll say it. You have nothing to apologize for. You're the national champions. I am always going to respect that. I'll always respect winning the conference, but then you went and trumped it. It wasn't just good enough to get to the championship game, as Ryan Day has done. You trumped them. So if you want to make the argument the last 3 years, you've trumped them. Well, no doubt about that.
Yeah.
No, but, dude, like that record, like what he's done. Do you remember? Didn't they, correct me if I'm wrong? It was didn't they pound Clemson too?
Oh yeah.
Did you?
Because Dabo ranked them. I just saw a TikTok about this today. Actually, I think Dabo ranked them 12th in his final coaches poll. Because they did only play like 6 games that year.
Yeah.
So they ranked them super low, and then they just went into the playoff. And like Justin Fields was playing with like one arm.
Yeah.
And they just throttled them, just beat the hell out of them. And then they got the hell beat out of them by Alabama.
Well, and I hope Chad understands like what I'm saying. He said Dick Fraud was overrated from the jump after taking a team and figuring out how to beat an overrated Big East conference. Hulk was just out of his depth in the bigger conference. Listen, you guys, everybody understands that now. Nobody understood that back then.
Yeah.
And anybody who suggested otherwise, okay? I got killed by so many of you guys. Killed by you guys. I remember arguing with people, I cannot believe this man is going to run the 3-3-5 in the Big Ten Conference. Blake, I'm serious. That was a real conversation that Killer and I had. And people call me, you are dumb. Don't ever talk football. You don't understand football. The 3-3-5 isn't going to work in a conference like the Big Ten. What are you talking about? And then, of course, with Brady Hoke's first year, what did everybody say? Well, it just shows you again at Michigan, you don't have to ever rebuild. We made amends, and now we're going to get back on track, after that nice year. And then it just kind of went like that. And that's what I'm saying, you guys. I mean, that's the correlation that I'm making is, yeah, we can sit back and say, well, it's a machine. It can keep rolling. Well, there was no way that Ryan Day was going to keep up that level that Urban was at, right? But how far did it fall?
No, Ohio State is still a machine.
Yeah.
Ohio State is still a machine, 100%.
Yeah.
I'm not, you will not hear any argument out of me with that whatsoever. Like I said, I as a Michigan fan will never stop questioning his team's toughness. Ever, ever, ever. And I will always want the tougher team going into that game.
Tim said every year Ohio State. Now this is the stuff I love. This puts a big smile on my face. I'm not going to lie on you. Every year Ohio State is first or second in recruiting since 2019. How many natties does he have? Tim, I don't think I need to tell you. Are you really bringing up recruiting grades to moi? You can't be, right? You can't, please. You're not throwing that in my face, are you? Sorry, I've been consistent about that for 15 years. Mark D'Antonio can't win in the Big Ten. Look at how he's getting his 3 stars. And then when Jim Harbaugh started to slip, it was amazing what happens when he starts to coach some of these guys up and turn these 3s into 4s and 4s into 5s, et cetera, et cetera. So we're on the same page. But please tell me you understand the hypocrisy throwing that at me. I hope you do. I hope you do. Now, with that being said, do we call Alabama overrated because their recruiting is always tops in the nation? Do we call Georgia overrated? Because by that logic, should Georgia win every year? It's inconceivable, right?
We won't even bring up Texas A&M.
Yeah. It's the biggest. Recruiting grades are as useful as a politician's campaign promises. I've seen far too many 5 stars flop and 3 stars be stubbed.
I disagree with that.
If Michigan paid NIL to big name players, they could have a big time team like Ohio State. Day is getting desperate and trying to buy a win and title. I'm not going to argue with that either. That's why, to be honest with you, Ray, that's why I love Ohio State so much this year. Because of that reason. 100%.
Oh yeah, they're desperate.
100%. No, and they're loaded. And you know what? I'll be the first guy to say if they get punked out again by the end of the year, I'll be the first guy to say, holy crap, you're right. They are Charmony soft. They are Charmony soft.
Who do they have in the non-con this year? Do they have anyone? Are they gonna?
Megan's asking for your digits though. That's pretty cool.
My wife's best friend.
Okay, get those digits. We should bring up Texas. Boy, I've talked about Texas. Megan, I'm with you there. Hook 'em horns. One of the most overrated college football teams. What killed me about Texas is when they finally won, because that was a lifetime. That was a lifetime of making fun of the Longhorns. I mean, going back to the days of Peter Gardier, and you kids can look that up. Seriously, Blake, I want you to look that up.
I just want to make sure.
Are you ready?
Oh no, I'm looking at it too, and I want to make sure that this is on the record. After last year, how Michigan's schedule just got ridiculed because this schedule is just as bad.
Akron, Western Michigan, Marshall. Then
that's their non-con.
Yep. Then they go to Michigan State, host Iowa, go to Oregon, host Nebraska, go to Crappy Valley, Purdue at home, Northwestern, Indiana at home, Michigan at home.
That non-con is just as bad as Michigan's from
easily. Okay, Megan, go green. Now we can be friends. Go white. Now we can be. friends. Eric said, hold on a second. He said Michigan owns Ohio State or owns Ryan Day no matter what, Sean. Well, right now, they have the bragging rights. They have bragging rights over everybody. Nobody's arguing that. The slander that you guys are putting towards Ryan Day's name, and quite frankly, what you guys are doing in the chat right now is actually funny.
Like, I'd like to know where Lou Holtz is right now.
I would too. I would love to know where Lou Holtz is. Guys, he's got 3 losses in the big.
Mhm.
He's got 2. Like the last 5 Big Ten champions are Ohio State, Michigan, Michigan. Ryan Day was a coach of both those teams, by the way. He's gone to the playoff multiple times, just like you have. He's gone to the national championship. The difference, obviously, you won the national championship. He got pummeled. The way you guys talk about him, and Blake, I think you understand this. The way you guys talk about him it's really weird. I'm not going to lie. It's really, really weird.
Yeah.
Tim said, check how he's done against the ranked teams. I can't check how he's done against the ranked teams. I mean, if I took the time to check how he's done against the ranked teams, I would do that. I'm going to go out on a limb, though. When a guy is 60-9 overall, he's probably pretty good against the ranked teams. Just a hunch. When he's 60-9 overall, when he is 41-3 in his own conference, I bet he's been pretty good against the ranked teams. Just a hunch at 41-3, right? No?
Sean, he's a good coach.
Thank you.
I'm not afraid of him.
I'm not
That's
saying
just
Eric, I'm not saying that they're going to win the Natty. I'm not. You know what? I think they're going to win the Big Ten. I think you guys are just completely dismissing him. Do you know what it reminds me of? Jason, I know you're here. So years ago, I went on vacation right before the college football season started. And crap you not. There was a conversation that took place while I was gone where they said, whoever the host was, I forget who was filling in the day that I was gone. Somebody said, who's the best coach in the Big Ten? Brady Hoke, I'm not making that up, or Mark D'Antonio. And it was like Dad came home from work and had to correct everybody. Do you know who the best coach in the conference was? It was Urban Meyer.
Yeah.
It was, thanks for playing.
Brady Hoke wasn't even 4th.
Tim said, why? Michigan's record since 2019 isn't far from OSU. Well, Tim, that's kind of my point, isn't it?
Yeah.
Here you are kind of pounding them into the ground for literally the last 20 minutes. But thank you. I agree with you. And you asked me, how's that record against top 10 teams or ranked teams? It's got to be pretty good when you're 41-3.
I hate it when the chat makes your point for you. Hate it.
I like it a lot. Kidding me?
I bet you do.
It's fun.
Like I said, I can't deal with you being a Ryan Day truther.
I'm not
You're a truther. You're a Ryan Day truther, and I don't like it.
It is really I'm just saying it's really weird how people are just dismissing him and dismissing them. It's weird. I don't know how to explain it. Sometimes, and I've said this before, sometimes you need somebody on the outside to kind of get you back in line. Does that make sense? John L. Smith. I liked John L. Smith. Now, the year before he got fired, I had some of my buddies who are Michigan fans tell me, dude, for crying out loud, there's nothing there. It was like you knew the answer, like you know the answer, but sometimes you need somebody to tell you the answer. Does that make sense? And I'm not going to lie, I kind of feel the same way right now about having these conversations. Ohio State isn't going anywhere. They're going to be a really big threat again this year. And I get why people are having fun with Ryan Day, but maybe, just maybe, part of that is your tormentor became the tormented one. Could that be it? You love Ryan Day. Oh, because I'm speaking factually. Okay. Yeah, sure. I love Ryan
But
Day.
also, who said it in the chat? Michael said, if Day was fired, would Blake want him on? No, I wouldn't want him on Michigan staff. I want no part of that.
David, Ohio State is a power flat out. 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
They're going to make, listen, they will make the playoff, whether they win the league or not.
You know what? I want to bring that up. Can we have a, Jason said the best part of this is Shauna and I started, and that's okay during the Hulk era. It's true. And that's okay. That was a fun bit. Like here, you know what, Jason, to that point, Ryan Day is a really good coach. And his worst season, they were ranked number 10 in the nation. That's okay. You've won 3 in a row against him. Blake, can I ask you a question? I was having this question with my buddy Neil Rule yesterday.
Mhm.
Who makes the playoff from the Big Ten? You think it's going to be
Who
Ohio
wins the
State?
league?
No. Makes the playoff. Ohio State, Oregon, and Michigan, right? That's who you think.
Yeah, and I think Penn State will be right there too.
Do you know what I worry about? For Michigan's sake? And this is why I think, no disrespect, I have a feeling you guys are going to be really pissed off, and you're like either the last one out or the second to last one out. I really, and there's nothing wrong with that season, right? But I'll tell you why. What do you think Texas is going to do this year? Really good team, right?
Yeah, I think they'll make the SEC championship.
Okay. 2-3 loss team, right?
Yeah.
Are one of those wins against Michigan?
Yeah, I think they're going to beat Michigan.
What if all things are considered equal and you have 3-loss Texas out of the SEC and 3-loss Michigan out of the Big Ten?
Yeah, Texas is in.
That's what I worry about.
Yeah.
Like, do you understand what I'm saying? It's not.
Yeah.
And this is what's weird. I think in the past, in the old way, a 3-loss team, don't tell me how good a 3-loss team is, okay? In this configuration, with these conferences, a 3-loss team could be damn good.
Mm-hmm.
And I expect Michigan to be damn good this year. And maybe not Michigan. Let's, for the sake of an argument, let's say Ohio State. Although with Ohio State's out of conference schedule, they would really have to fall flat on their face.
Yeah, like they would have to go 9-3 with their non-conference schedule to not get in.
Mm-hmm.
They would have to lose to Michigan, Penn State, and Oregon.
Michael, thank you. You guys are the best. Can't wait for the season to start. Tim said, back when you railed against the rating system, you said they have to coach them up. Do you still feel that way? 100%. 100%. And at what level is that ever not going to be a fact? Right? And I think that's what Michigan proved. And it's funny because I always use Jim Harbaugh at Stanford as one of my outliers. That was a pretty damn good Stanford team, right? They finished, 11-1. They won the Orange Bowl. I think they were 4th in the nation. If you go back and look at what their rankings were, other than Andrew Luck, in fairness, their rankings sucked. Their 5-year cumulative average was 47. 47. And oh, by the way, in case you don't remember, it wasn't like Andrew Luck was a 5-star, like 1,000% 6-star Milky Waters gem either. I mean, he turned into a very special quarterback. So 100% you have to coach him up. And then we watched that happen under Jim Harbaugh. We went from the signing of the stars to flying under the radar, just getting fits, and winning multiple Big Ten championships and a national championship.
Mm-hmm.
You know when I do that? Do you know what that means, Blake? Respect. Tip of the cap. Can't take a damn thing away from Jim Harbaugh and what Michigan did. Can't. Won't. I become what I detest if that happens. So, yes, to answer your question, I hope I answered emphatically. Yes, you have to coach those guys up. Yes, yes, yes. My goodness. Tim
Are
said,
you
we
okay? Do you feel better now?
lost teams in the I just like talking about college football. Don't you get fired up? I love it.
Yes, 100%. I just don't like it when it's at my expense.
That wasn't at your expense.
I'm the one that triggered it.
No,
Did I not?
Well, you kind of did.
Yeah,
But
I
it
sent you
wasn't
that
really-
tweet.
No, but
Okay, but that was an idiotic statement by
No,
him.
do you know what the difference is, though? Do you know what you said? Dude's a good coach.
Yeah, he's a great coach.
That's fine. So that isn't even really directed at you. It's the people that just want to dismiss Ohio State.
Okay, but
I think you're out your mind.
do you agree or disagree with me that his statement in that tweet I sent you, which I can read, was idiotic?
Yes.
Okay. As long as we agree with that. Let me pull this up real quick because I was just shocked. Why is
You're
this not
losing right now. I can say that, right? You know that? Did you know that? Does that look like Diet Mountain Dew to you? That's all I'm going to say. Does that look like Diet Mountain Dew to you?
you having a good night tonight?
It looks a little brown, doesn't it? I wonder what I poured in there.
He said that was a very good team, but we still should have won that game and we didn't. That's what he said.
Look what
There you go.
doing.
That's what you get.
I love Ryan Day.
That's an idiotic statement, though. You lost. You got your ass beat.
Yeah.
We should have won. Well, you didn't.
I hate that. I hate that.
And that makes me feel better about the game.
Horseshoes and hand grenades, right? If my aunt was my uncle, right? I mean, it's all that. Okay, this is why I'm going to say it again. And I used to, do you remember this line? Blake, you won't, but a lot of these guys will. Jason, I hope you remember this. Take your medicine. Just shut up and take your medicine. Sometimes you have to shut up and take your medicine, okay? And I'm not going to bring up the past, but I heard they got lucky here and they got lucky there and they got lucky here. And, you know, sometimes, you know what? Just take your medicine. Ryan Day has to take medicine. Ryan Day has to take medicine. Shut up.
He's not good at that part.
Shut up. You lost 3 straight, man. They won the national championship. Shut up. All right.
You should probably do a read since we're already at an hour.
Whatever. I'm boozing tonight, too. Can we talk about the Wealth Advantage Group for a second? I've boozed with these guys. See them both right there? I might add in the comfort of our own homes, okay? The Hanson brothers right there. And if you're ready to take charge of your financial future, look no further than the Wealth Advantage Group. They are located in historic downtown Northville and owned by 2 brothers with over 20 years of industry experience. They understand that your financial goals are as unique as you are. That's why they offer personalized expert guidance to help you navigate the complexities of financial planning. Now, whether you're saving for retirement, getting ready to sell your company, you're already in retirement, they can help guide you through every step of your financial journey. They work with clients throughout all stages of life, and they have clients in over 20 states. The investment world is a complex one. So if you're ready to start taking your finances more seriously, it's time to work with the experts. Friends of mine, they take care of my family. They will take care of you. Reach out to the Wealth Advantage Group at 248-773 8574 or check out their website at www.thewealthadv.com. Have fun on your vacation. Ray said it's crazy how the shows you guys have done recently on college and no Notre Dame talk, or it would be worse than Ohio State talk. I think that Notre Dame is a good team. I'm pulling for them in a certain regard that my old buddy Mark Spindler's son Rocco is playing for them. So now I have a vested interest in them. Do you know what the problem with Notre Dame is? They're a good program right now. That's the problem with Notre Dame. Blake, do you agree with me? Yes or no?
They're a good program.
They're a good program.
They're just not like nationally relevant like they used to be.
Nope. Mm-mm.
Like, I don't think they're.
I will say, I don't think they'll ever be a return to glory. And I'm being I hate to speak in the finality of things. I don't think they'll ever be a return to glory. I'm being
joining the Big Ten would be a big step. Not playing in the ACC for half of your schedule.
I think
play a real schedule.
it would be huge, but at the same time, can you blame them for wanting to hold on to their independence? I think Swarbrick was brilliant like that. Now, with him walking away, might things change in the next few years? I think so. But my goodness gracious, I think he was brilliant for them to hold on to.
Yeah, before what's happening now in college football. Now, if you're not in one of the two leagues, I think you're playing for second fiddle.
Yeah. Ray said they should be in the Big Ten or ACC.
Nobody wants to be in the ACC.
But no, honestly, here's should they? I'm serious.
Now
they've had a path to the national championship, right?
Yeah.
They've had a path. They haven't had to have any affiliation. And I think now, especially
the last time they did make the playoff, they were in the ACC.
Yeah, but do you have to do that? I don't think they do. It's Notre Dame. For whatever reason, they're still going to be put on a pedestal. And it isn't 35, 40 years ago. You know what I mean? Like Notre Dame hasn't been prevalent like that since the early 90s.
I think in today's college football, you have to be in one of the two leagues if you want to win national championships.
They can get in as an at-large, and people will put them on a pedestal.
Yeah. They can get in, but now we're going back to what we just talked about. You got to win natties. It's Notre Dame.
Hold on a second. What happened to Manning's kid at Texas? Quinn Ewers, right?
Yeah, Quinn Ewers is awesome.
Yeah.
Another Ryan Day.
Yeah.
He lost out on him. Quinn Ewers is awesome.
Who's your dark horse in the SEC? Florida or Tennessee or somebody else? Do you have one? Am I allowed to call Ole Miss a dark horse?
Yeah, it would either be Ole Miss or Tennessee. Florida's schedule is the hardest schedule college football has ever seen.
It's funny you say that. I don't think you and I have talked about that, have we?
I think I brought it up quickly, but
that's
by the
schedule. Yes,
by the metrics, if you look at their schedule, so the second hardest schedule in the country is USC, behind Florida. USC would have to play every single one of their games on the road for it to be harder than Florida's.
Jeez, oh Pete.
That's how hard Florida's schedule is. Florida's schedule is insane. Florida will be lucky to win 4 games.
I'm going to say it again. Ole Mills, thank you. I'm going to say it again, Blake. The Miami Hurricanes are sitting in a position right now a lot like Florida State last year. And I remember I told you that before if they could knock off LSU, they were going to find themselves in that position because it was going to take a fraudulent win against a fraudulent team, and it would put them in a fraudulent position. And then let's face it, if their quarterback doesn't get injured, they're probably in the playoff fraudulently, I might add. But and I think Miami's in that same position. The way that the ACC is so crappy this year, and a couple of those games over the course of the year can make the people that don't pay attention go, "Ooh, the U is back." And I like Blake, I'm serious. I think they could be right back in that position.
If Florida State figures out DJU, I would still take Florida State because I think that Florida State's head coach is a lot better of a coach than Mario Cristobal is.
Okay.
I mean, Mario Cristobal is not a good coach. He's a great recruiter.
Well, you and I were watching that game last year, for goodness sake. Just one of the biggest screw ups that I take a.
It was one of the greatest things I've ever seen.
Take a knee, dude. Take a knee. Jeez, oh Pete.
I mean, you can even see it though at Oregon, how Dan Lanning has elevated that program since Cristobal has left. Cristobal was a great recruiter at Oregon, but what Lanning has done is incredible.
I think Miami also has a dark horse Heisman candidate in Cam Ward. I really do. Yeah, I think
he's good.
I think, especially again, considering what that thing is. Gosh, we could sit here and do this all tonight. Are you kidding me? Can a school like Liberty get in the playoffs, or do they get squeezed again by the big boys? They will be in the playoffs.
Yeah, Liberty's going undefeated.
Yeah, mark my words.
That league is so bad.
You and I talked about that like a month ago. The first time we had our pants around our ankles around college football.
We didn't even plan on doing this. We just started.
It's the coolest part, isn't it?
You were gonna bring up Jamo, and I was gonna be mean.
All right, can I ask you about Jamo? What are
why don't you tell all of our friends about one of our friends, if you know what I mean, and then we'll talk about
Did you know that thousands of Metro Detroiters have already called Legacy Partners to get help with their home and auto insurance? Our friends at Legacy Partners are one of Southeast Michigan's top independent insurance agents, and they provide a full-service, one-stop solution for all of your insurance needs, personal, business, large, and small. Look, these guys are great guys. They've hung out with both Blake and I. They're huge sports fans, and most importantly, this is kind of important in today's society. They're going to save you money. They've helped our listeners by fixing mistakes that other agents have made, asking the right questions to get the right coverage put in place to properly protect you. And oh yeah, help save you some money. Isn't that what it's all about today? Chances are, if you haven't checked your policies in the last year, you're probably paying too much and you could be underinsured. What are you waiting for? Give these guys a jingle. Get your quote. Legacy Partners, they are ready to help you with your home, your cars, life insurance, Medicare enrollment, business insurance needs. Call them today, 586-209-4106, or visit legacypartnersins.com to get started with your new quotes. Evidently, I'm in love with Ryan Day, so if you guys want to put hearts and things around that, have at it. Have fun. Ryan Day and I are, there it is. Ryan Day and I are lovers. I confess, there it is. I have made sweet love to Ryan Day. Do you know what I make sweet love to? The Book of Facts. You're never wrong with the Book of Facts. But go ahead, Blake. Jamo.
Yeah, well, you were going to ask me about Jamo.
What do you think about Jamo? What are realistic expectations for Jamo this year?
Okay, I was not a huge Jamo guy coming out of college. So we always talk about the genius of Brad Holmes. I never understood that pick. I never got it. I think he's a gimmick and bit type player. So, I mean, he was the, you want to go back to Ohio State? He was the number 5 receiver on Ohio State when he was there. He had one good year at Alabama. That was it. That was his college career. I don't understand this town's obsession with the guy. That's the other. I don't get it. Why is everyone so obsessed with him? He hasn't done anything. He had one play in the playoff game. That was it. So, no, I don't think he's going to have a good year because I don't think he's that good. He's fast. John Ross, the third. Remember him? That's what he reminds me of. Okay, go ahead.
I like him as part of this offense. I don't think, if you're looking for bombastic numbers, I don't think he's ever going to do it because you have Amon-Ra St. Brown. You have arguably a top 3, dare I say top 2 tight end. Mm-hmm. You have 2 different running backs. I think, you know what I'd like to see? I'd like to see the ball in Jamo's hands more often. How's that? I don't care about bombastic numbers. I don't. You know what? When the ball's in that guy's hands, he's a game changer. I'd like to see the ball in his hands more. It's funny seeing people, Blake, try to put 1,000 yards and 20 touchdowns. I don't care. You know what? I'd like to see his playmaking ability more often. How's that? Do you understand what I'm saying?
That's fair.
Okay.
Doesn't he have to prove it though?
I think if you
think he's proved it, because I don't.
If you look at last year, he hasn't proved it. I agree with you, but I think the last month last year, it was the appetizer platter, and now I want the family platter. Does that make sense? Because you saw him on the end around, you saw him on the jet sweep, you saw him go, the distance. that was the sampler plate. Now I want the family platter. Does that make sense? So I'm not sitting here saying that it's going to be bombastic, but I think everybody has to acknowledge, again, factually, that this is a guy that has shown the promise of that game-breaking ability. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
But he's a number 3 guy. He's not a number 1. He's not a number 2.
I agree with you. There's nothing wrong with that.
But this town is obsessed with
Well,
him.
again, people have a tough time putting in perspective. All right, I'm gonna go,
And he is not a good fit for Jared Goff.
I'm gonna go headbutt something in a second because I like I said, I've seen a lot of these like comparisons tonight. Can I throw this at you? Are you ready? Did you see this one? Ryan Day is the college version of Jim Caldwell. He can win and no one else loses when the lights are bright. You just compared a guy that played
Ray is usually
played for the national championship.
In the COVID year. COVID year does not count. It doesn't count.
Worst bit in the history of mankind. Can we be adult enough to?
It doesn't count.
It's the worst bit in the history of mankind. The COVID year doesn't count bit.
The Lakers didn't win the championship. I don't count that.
That's like saying, well, their road to the playoffs sucked.
Stanley Cup. Montreal didn't deserve.
That was the next year, but whatever. But it's the worst bit. I'm glad you're having fun with it. But no, he won the Big
I love
Ten.
pissing you off.
He won the Big Ten multiple times when played for a national championship. Jim Caldwell, people around here had their pants around their ankles just making the playoffs. Come on, man. Come on. All right. I'm going to. Yeah, Blake, I don't have a problem with what you said about Jamo. I really firmly believe that you are more spot on than people around here want to admit. It's like my take on Ryan Day. They don't want to admit it, but they know in the back of their head they're correct.
I just don't. I will never understand this town's obsession with it.
He is never going to be Calvin Johnson. And you know what? I don't care.
He's never going to be.
I don't care.
He's never going to be T.Y. Hilton. I think Todd said that earlier. He'll never be that.
Listen, you know what? If you fit as a puzzle piece, even a small puzzle piece, with, again, one of the best tight ends in the National Football League, I don't think that's an overstatement. Do you?
No, he's the 3rd best tight end, 100%.
If that kid did that as a rookie, what might he do the next few years? You know what I'm saying? And with the wide receivers around him and arguably one of the best lines in the league, I'm not asking him to be a superstar.
Doesn't it kind of?
I don't care if he's Randy Moss. Really?
Wouldn't you like him a lot more as a piece if they had a number 2 behind with Amon-Ra? That's why there's pressure on him this year. Because there's no Josh Reynolds.
Yeah. To drop the ball. I'm sorry. I'll never forgive that poor guy.
That's why he has to pick up more of a role. He can't just be that. So,
see, I like talking to you this time of year. I like talking to all my friends this time of year. Like, seriously, all of you, even if we don't agree and things like that, like, this is great. We're talking football, and to me, that's fun. So, Blake, let's do it again real soon, okay?
Yeah. Why don't you tell our friends about Lindsey Broadwell before you wrap this up?
I'm going to do that. And then you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pour a big old whiskey, and I'm going to pound it.
Okay.
Is that all right?
That sounds fantastic.
When it comes time to get yourself a new house, whether you're buying, selling, both, you need to contact the right agent. Do you know who that agent is? Right there. Lindsey Broadwell. Your house is probably the biggest investment you'll ever make, and that's why you need a pro. Lindsey grew up on the mean streets of Northville, and she has expanded her team all over Southeast Michigan. She's an expert in all facets of the business. Now, when it's time to make your move, our friend Lindsey and her team will make sure you get the most out of your house and everything goes smoothly when finding your new home. Buying, selling, first-time buyer, doesn't matter. make sure you contact Lindsay at BroadwellHomes.com. She will help you with everything from start to close. Licensed realtor at Real Broker LLC. Start your search today at BroadwellHomes.com. Eric, thank you. Appreciate it. Enjoy your vacation. Jason said, did someone take away Jamo's DraftKings account? That's the low-hanging fruit. What did the Lions kicker do to hurt his hamstring so bad he's out for the year? Wasn't that weird? It's like torn hamstring out for the year. Now, a hammy's not anything to be trifled with. You know that, right, Blake? Have you had hammy problems?
Very few, but yes.
Dude. Tim said, yeah, we get good and wired and using my best Maxwell Smart voice. I'm loving it. 1,000 minus 1,000 odds on Sean pouring a CC. I haven't.
Yeah, what's your go-to?
A Canadian club. Canadian
Okay.
club. Tonight, you know what I did? I actually poured some Bacardi in here. Believe it or not. I'm Sean Baligian for Bacardi and Mountain Dew. No, I really did. I poured some Bacardi in here. Captain Morgan's will do. When I have
I can't do rum at all.
Really?
Not at all.
When I do the whiskey, I gotta be like the old man. I get my rocks glass. I put one cube only in there, and I pour my whiskey in there and I sip it. And that's usually what I do. Like Saturday nights when you and I are texting each other. By that time, a lot of times I have already broadcast a football game, sometimes even broadcast a hockey game, and it's like, all right, I'm home. I'm going to have my whiskey on the rock and everything. So, yeah, it's good.
I like tequila.
Do you drink it straight?
No.
Okay, I was going to
I
say.
don't drink. I honestly don't drink that. I might drink like once every 3 months.
Yeah. Jason said, for what it's worth, CC stands for Canadian Club. Yeah, I'm love my CC. Tim said, trying to keep up with Jake did it. Ray said, lucky they got the Michigan Panthers kicker who kicked 60-yard field goals in Ford Field. Hope he can do it so Campbell doesn't cost them going for fourth down. You talked about that earlier. Sean's, can I get a shout out for my dog, Alex? For any dog. What up, Alex? How's that? All right. Anything else, Blake?
No, you want to chat again on Monday?
How about Sunday?
I can't do Sunday.
Always something with you.
I can't. I'm so
Monday.
sorry. I want to enjoy my last 2 days off before I go back.
Happy birthday to Dad Vic. All right. Can you say happy birthday to Vic?
Happy birthday, Vic. I have to go back to work Monday, okay? And I'm really like,
all right.
I'm not looking forward to it.
We'll do it Monday night. In the meantime, Todd, thank you. Thanks to all you guys as well. I got to take these dogs out. You guys take care. Bye-bye. God bless you. Have a great weekend. Peace.
Off the Air with Sean Baligian, featuring Sean Baligian and Blake Majchrzak. Produced by Todd Losey and Blake Majchrzak. Executive produced by Sean Baligian and Todd Losey. Theme song, incidental music, and related sound effects are from Play It Loud by Jam Studio. Engineering, mixing, and graphic design support provided by the unsyndicated podcast team. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Off the Air with Sean Baligian on all your favorite channels. While you're there, be sure to rate and review the podcast. Got something to say to Sean? Call the unsyndicated hotline at 248-237-3257.